Welcome back on in, ladies and gentlemen, to Victory Road Unite Clash number 11. I'm so happy to be joined back here with Kanashi. I'm Dr. Kendo. We got a match coming up, man. What does it look like? Who is it?
Yeah, so we are going to be hopping into the semifinals match here. It's going to be between Azeri Esports and Maned Wolves from Brazil. So now these two teams, I just got word, are both from the South America region. So this is going to be a really good matchup. We know that both of these teams are coming in, blazing. And it's great to see them on the opposite end of this semifinals bracket. So we're going to be able to get a taste of this. It's going to be really interesting to go ahead and see how these two teams have played. Azeri knocked out Nemesis in order to get here. And Mend Wolves also knocked out Infamous Gaming. So definitely a couple of names that we know in the NA scene. These two teams are coming out to play and coming out to win.
And we will say that, when you hear the name Nemesis, it does maybe make you think of the team of old. This Nemesis right here, though, has really solid people. I mean, you're talking about Gatlu, you're talking about OG was taken, Dat Boy Muck, Rex. I mean, this is just absolutely a feat to behold. And so to win that and advance on that is very, very wonderful. We love Azeri here. They've been, I think, to every victory road, at least every very recent ones, even the last few months. So we love you. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, we love all the teams, so I shouldn't try to give any one favoritism. We're just trying to say thank you. Thank you for your continued support. So like we say, also thank you to the viewers. We are going to get that match started as soon as we can. Kanashi and I will just kind of sweat until then as little as possible.
Yeah, it feels good to come back. I've been trying to stream a little bit more Pokemon Unite, but the day job has definitely taken over a little bit of it. Lucky for me, just to let you guys know, I am an instructor over at UC Berkeley summer camps, and we're teaching esports as kind of a really good way of getting kids involved in gaming. But yeah, just to teach them MOBAs, it's really cool to go into Pokemon Unite and be like, yeah, we're today, literally yesterday, we watched you and Artisan cast that match, and we're like, this is
really?
another job that you guys can do. It's not just players only. There's a lot of other things that could go on, but we are getting into character selection. We do see that Absol getting picked up by Man Wolves, and meanwhile on the other side we do see the answer as well. But we'll see if specific things change up as we are going to continue on with their pickups.
So we all love to see the Delphox coming in, of course, our newest addition to the Pokemon Unite roster in there, so looking good from Sultan. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're just waiting on those one check marks both sides, right? And it looks like it's going to land on them, of course, with that Hoopa, that Lucario. So there we go. We're all checked in. We're all ready. Absol's still, probably a dominating force, but hey, nothing is known until this match begins.
Yeah, still a lot of damage coming through. And these teams are definitely learning and applying their pressure to other teams. Another Snorlax pick, usually that was just something that we saw Zogrog do a one of, but the X speed coming into kind of the newer favor, it being kind of a speedy way of getting out of certain battles. And we do have, once again, the Delphox. This is going to be a really interesting play overall. Hopefully we do see that fire spin. We'll see if it is going to be comboed with anything big, but overall, just a great match as we're going to head into our first semifinals match here between Azeri Esports and Man Wolves from Brazil.
There we go. So that ready go was just about 6 seconds ago, and we see that kind of more typical 1-1-3, but obviously with our central area filling up on both sides with that Absol. And so that kind of made sense, right? We want them to get the experience and snowball out of here if we can. So anyway, we have an early skirmish for that Audino per usual. There it goes. But also notice the Electro Web very close to bring down our Chansey right here from Maned Wolves, but it is going to survive. So there we go. We got our first theme song of today, which is I Will Survive, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just playing it very safe, very low. We do see them trying to collapse onto Sherlock, but playing a little bit of a juke game here with Kanai, but can he survive? That will be the question. He's going to be able to touch on the goal, but it's going to go ahead and let them score in. But here comes their Absol in retaliation, looking to get a couple kills, and they are going to go ahead and clean that up. Kuro going to be able to go ahead and do that and allow Azeri this time to kind of respond back to the early goals.
That's right. So now we kind of have to have everybody sort of reset, get your bearings back in here. If you're main Wolves, for example, you know, you lose those. Kanashi and I have talked about this many times. Maybe this will be the one time we talk about it during this tourney. Is just, yeah, if you get KO'd within that first minute of the match, it's not the end of the world, but obviously it hurts. No one wants to be KO'd, but you also don't want to miss out on experience. So those are kind of the main things. But again, your respawn timer is a little bit quicker, of course, being that it's just the first minute. So right now we just see some of those smaller dunks, which are very common for these first 2 minutes of the match. And really, it's moving fast, just as Unite does. So we have, I think, the makings of a very good match in our hands. At least we hope.
Yeah, both these teams are playing it really tight and really smart here. Maned Wolves is going to go ahead and invade the jungle, but it's not going to be for free, as it looks like Azeri is going to go ahead and respond back by KOing them. And now, heading into the 8-minute mark, we're just starting to hit a couple of these level 5 second evolutions, and it's a little hectic as we do see a little bit of jungle invasion coming out from both sides as well.
Hyperspace hold down on the goal over here from the side, and so anybody that needs to can kind of rotate down, but we're not looking for it for the Dreadnought quite yet. That's going to be at 7 on the clock. Currently, though, everybody actually now, you know, Kanashi was mentioning the tight game. We're now a little bit more dispersed, and this is good. This is actually part of that tight game, even though we're not talking literally everybody tight-knit and tight, close by, I guess we can say. But everybody kind of getting their respective wilds, and then now, this is where we'll go ahead and meet, because we have that Audino, of course, in between. And now you're making a big push right here against main Wolves if you're Azeri, so this is very nice. You know, getting very, very close to bringing down that goal, but it's still stuck at 27.
Yeah, they mainly brought people up there to go ahead and maybe get some of the B experience, but huge push coming forward by Azeri. But they are going to go ahead and TP, just get that HP going back for them. And now they're going to go ahead and rotate down, as we do see the Dreadnought is now available. Juan booking it down there, trying to go ahead and TP down the Lucario, and that's going to be the case. Both of them are going to be working here, as we do see it dropping really low. The Midnight Slash going to go ahead and secure that for Azeri, and now they're going to go ahead and look at main Wolves next. Sultan drops first, as they're going to go ahead and look at the Hoopa as well. Nick going to be the next target, followed by Kanai. Kanai trying to push him away with a sliver of HP, going to be able to escape, but not necessarily their front goal, dropping dangerously low, and Kuro going to go ahead and back out of that fight as well.
You are too right. It got dangerously close right there. And so anyway, we are leaving that T1 goal, of course, currently against Orange right now. But you notice the score, how much this has drastically changed. We talked about the tight match earlier. Now we're talking about a bigger score gap. Definitely not out of control yet, though. You know, when you got 120 to 36, you know, we're looking at a little bit less than 100 points, and that's okay for this stage of the match. What you don't want, obviously, is the snowball effect, and so we'll be looking for that as the match just kind of transpires here. But notice our Absol wearing that Pirate's hat, right? I mean, looking good here on the bottom path, but currently on the top path, we also simultaneously are going to be going for the Bs, and then maybe look at that Rotom when the time is right. So be looking out for that, folks. It's the intensity is turning up.
Yeah, they're going to continue the pressure and continue the damage moving forward. And they are going to go ahead and maybe look at this Rotom now, utilizing that Fire Spin in order to go ahead and check any of the hiding spots that Azeri could possibly be in, and just go ahead and spin them up as well. You do see the push coming out from the Snorlax as well, making sure that main Wolves cannot retreat as quickly, and they are going to be able to get out. Kanai definitely down to 1 HP, and can they get the chase? And he's going to get sat on by Carl Dave, and now they're looking at Angel next. Not going to be able to sweep themselves out of that certain fight, and now they're going to have their eyes set on this front goal. Will they have enough? They're going to go ahead and let the Snorlax score, as they're going to go ahead and take the berries as well, and make sure that they cannot quite TP down here in time. So Azeri Esports just trying to get in position for this next Dreadnought as well, and we'll see if that fight is about to break out right now.
Death by Snorlax aft end is not always fun, ladies and gentlemen, but it looked good for this match. And of course, the heavy slam also even provided a little bit of mobility for Snorlax to get in for that score. Notice how quickly that Dreadnought is going to go down, and this time in favor right here from main Wolves, and that team fight is still a-going, of course. So notice, though, which team is going to drop more. Looks like main Wolves actually going to lose 3 of them. We do see, though, that there is a slugfest happening with this Lucario, definitely keeping up. So there it is. Look at this, how it can turn around very quickly. We're talking about 10 seconds for each team able to switch it back and forth. So there it is, that KO streak of 4 looking very nice from Kanai. Will go ahead and dunk in. Wonderful job from main Wolves, bringing this back up to a much closer match of Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, just trying to keep the game close is pretty much the name of the game here. But overall, they were just trying to find something to open up with in order to go ahead and get them into position. Surprised that Made Wolves were able to go ahead and get in there in time to go ahead and even steal that in. But, you know, Midnight Slash just does so much damage. Just being able to get that last hit in really is going to help them catch up here in terms of level and experience.
And of course, Kanashi, just for the sake of, you know, our Delphox being the newest roster pick and everything, we are going to see that fire paired with the fire spin right there. It's the mystical fire. And the fanciful fireworks are down right here. Amidst the Rotom, but obviously not going to change the, I guess, ultimate outcome maybe with that Rotom, because it will, of course, go to Azeri Esports right here. And they're looking solid, though this, like we said, and Kanashi noted it too, as Maine Wolves making this a much closer game when we maybe didn't expect it so much. So looking good, both teams. We're going to see what transpires. We got a minute till that final stretch.
Yeah, that is such a good play overall. The use of heavy slam into block and utilizing the speed that you get from hyperspatial as well to go ahead and push them even further in. So there's a lot of pressure that they're putting on Nick from Man Wolves here. If they're not in the fight, they're not protecting themselves from potentially getting pushed into the rest of the team. Carl Dave strikes again, and then gonna go ahead and push on forward here as well. Just that combo is so tough, and if without the Blissey there to apply a safeguard to one of your teammates, you're just gonna get swept back in. They're just doing it again. They're pulling out the brooms and the dustpans, and they're saying, no, you cannot come here. This is our spot that we're gonna end up cleaning up. And as speaking of cleaning up, they're also going to go ahead and take that front goal, applying a ton of pressure, and Azeri definitely trying to take control here.
It's Snorlax's kitchen, all right? He's wearing the Chef Hollowware. So right here, we got 3, 2, 1 for that Zapdos, you guys. Final stretch. And it's the first final stretch we'll see of this tournament for these two teams, with Azeri Esports currently ahead, but only by just about 100 points. I'm not a math major, so it's not the exact total, but ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see, I think, a team fight on our hands, but look at the positioning. You know, Azeri is trying to cover all the bases, Kanashi, because we got them spread out right here. Main Wolves, we just got to see which entrance are they going to take. Will it be that top? Will it be that choke? Will it be some kind of combination in between?
Yeah, and they're utilizing their utility to try to go ahead and find certain players here. They do see Carl Dave just kind of chilling here, and now they're going to try to go ahead and push him out of this positioning. Going to use the block in order to get out, and now the hoops and bound are going to be popped in order to go ahead and bring the rest of the team back, this time after recovering. Sultan still playing up here at top, might be looking to potentially just get out of that fight in the first place, but Azeri still continuing the damage, but they are going to go ahead and take out their Absol, continuing on with the push, trying to get Juan out of here, dropping really low and trying to get back to their own hyperspace. Oh, not going to get denied here, and he's just going to get that little bit of damage through, and Azeri having the numbers to move forward. Zapdos now slowly getting chipped away. Angel going to go ahead and grab 3 from the side of Azeri, and now is looking at Carl Dave being the last one alive right now. Can they do that and apply pressure to the Zapdos as well, dropping down to a quarter? And they are going to go ahead and bring down not only the Snorlax, but also the Zapdos. So now, Maned Wolves going to go ahead and keep their eyes on top. They are down by 2. And now it is a matter of if Azeri Esports can play defense against somebody like Nick, that tanky Blissey with the safeguard, not going to be able to stop them. They're going to continue to roll on forward. The damage is there, though. Nick is going to go ahead and get broken down here. But with 10 seconds left, it's going to be up to Azeri Esports. Can they even get on point and go ahead and score this? We will see. It might be too late, but yeah, Maned Wolves just figuring out a way how to do it, get it some KOs, prolong the fight, and end up taking out the Zapdos for themselves. So good play overall by both of these teams.
I'd say Marvel and particularly X-Men fans going to be a definite fan of Blissey pulling off a juggernaut there. I'm the juggernaut, and it just pushes its way through to that final score of 336 there for that orange squad to 234 for Azeri there on the purple. Notice who's got the crowns, but also look at these points. They're somewhat dispersed, but, you know, Main Wolves really taking it over with that Zapdos, because here it is on that line graph. That's really where we can see the display of what happened in this match. Got very close together around that 6-minute mark, and then, of course, just the exponential gains from those Zapdos plays. So very, very nice. Main Wolves, you're going to take it right there with the Zapdos, and Kanashi, we're just about to see, of course, what's going to happen with that damage, because that'll tell us another story as well.
Yeah, you do see the overall score coming out here. We are going to take a look at the damage numbers here. Um, Kuro just dealing, 81k. Also kind of being matched up here, being kind of the main damage dealer for that team. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have, 66 from Angel. But overall, like, really spread damage numbers coming out from the side of Maned Wolves. They just have that synergy in order to go ahead and find certain players and pick them off. You have to give credit to, Carl Dave as well. The way how he ended up playing that matchup, just heavy slam and sweeping them into the team. Yes, they were able to go ahead and find a couple picks left and right, but still not enough to go ahead and clean up the match. So overall, I do think that they are going to be making the adjustments. I think Azeri played a really good game overall. I think that they were winning, the first 8 minutes. So now it's just a matter of, closing out that last two. And that's just, the tale of Pokemon Unite. So, liked what they did. I don't know if there's going to be any main adjustments moving forward. But overall, really good matchup overall.
Want to thank you to Dios Danix, or it's Danny X, but basically they've been cheering on Azeri in there, so we love when you guys cheer on your favorite teams and whatnot. Kanashi and I stay as neutral as we can, of course, but I also wanted to point out that VTuber Pinky was saying, for a discussion point, what is a Pokemon that's not in the game or data mine that you would want added? And I know, too, Kanashi, this was one that you made me think about, because I always gave that same answer, which was those kind of bipedal T-Rex-like Pokemon. I love a lot of them, and they'd have good potential here. The problem is we had so many defenders. So when you think about like a Pokemon like Aggron entering in here, these 3-stage defenders, Rhyperior and stuff, likely being defenders, it's one of those cases where we were a little bit less gung-ho about it. But again, to make a nod to you in the Poke Concepts, it would be the Scizor. Scizor would be a great pick to have. We need another speedster. We all love Scyther Scizor, so why not, right? So if I don't go with my T-Rexes, the Tyrantromes and stuff, definitely gonna pick the Scizor, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon that, I still want to finish up through the Poke Concepts thing. It's just, work has been so busy, and I'm
Yes.
trying to work out a couple things with a couple of artists, so I don't have to draw out everything individually. But when it does come down to some of the ideas, there are a lot of really cool Pokemon out there. Don't want to give away anything, obviously, like you guys want to see the video instead. But yeah, this is definitely a great discussion piece. And if you do want to talk a little bit more detail, feel free to chat in Poke Concepts. We have a lot of those hopefully coming up. I'm still planning out a ton of them. We are going to go ahead and see how this team is going to go ahead and figure themselves out. They said that they are creating a new lobby and whatnot, so they got to go ahead and hop in there. But yeah, it's really great discussion overall. I know that there are, there's a ton of Pokemon that we can go over.
Absolutely.
And we will definitely see how well those Pokemon, if the Pokemon can get in. I mean, for example, like one of them that we were discussing was like, I mean, how did Trevenant get in? Like, that was one of the ones when it first came out. We're like, that's kind of weird. That's quite interesting. And now another one that we were discussing, with the Espeon being, the newest evolution, we thought, okay, well, maybe we only have one Eevee. But, this now opens up that opportunity to bring in all the other generations and see if that is going to be the case.
Yes, and VTuber Pinky echoing that sentiment on Scizor. Again, we're talking about speedsters who have kind of just not really gotten their fair share of the spotlight, let's say, at this point. You could rewind, I should say, not fast forward, but you could rewind a few months and it might have been a slightly different story. But you got to think about Zeraora being our launch character, but the only speedster that was quote unquote added. Again, it was a launch thing. So, are we really saying added to the game, or was it kind of that package deal? So yeah, get in on some technicalities, of course. But yeah, we really thank everybody for viewing right now. Like Kanashi said, we're going to try to bring you this match as quick as possible. It's just that there are those logistical things that happen. I think a lot of people, whether you know it or not, behind the scenes, you got TOs, you got the team captains, you got all sorts of dynamics going on here. If they have to create a new lobby, they have to create a new lobby, and get that all set up. Then, Kanashi, there's that 2-minute buffer time, where we can't quite spectate them, right? Or maybe, I guess if it's an admin, maybe the 2-minute buffer's not there. I didn't even think about that, but yes, I know that in regular spectator mode, you have the 2-minute buffer. Anyway, point being, there's things behind the scenes that, we don't always know about. Some of them we do, so just bear with us here as we get that match started for you.
Yeah, and you know, when it does come down later down the line as well, when we do get Scarlet and Violet, that's just gonna add even more potential picks that we can get into the
Lechonk.
game. Yeah, we'll see. I'm a big Smoliv fan. I love
I
Smoliv.
am too.
Um,
I am too.
we'll see if that ends up becoming something bigger. But overall, I think that, like, you know, a great way I feel like Unite and, you know, the Pokemon Company can work together is if whenever they do announce that they're gonna release a game or a new like format of something, they kind of like tie it in with a new Pokemon release. So, for example, you
Right.
know, if Scarlet and Violet come through and then they're like, oh yeah, we'll have, you know, the Lechonk line in the game, and you're just like, okay, we'll figure out how that works. Or
Yep.
the one that I was saying for when Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were coming out, I was like, yo, what if they included Empoleon like as another Pokemon, or
Right.
any of the Sinnoh starters would have been a really cool one to go ahead and toss in here. But speaking of tossing in, we're going to go ahead and toss ourselves into this match. We'll go ahead and see what they are going to go ahead and pick up. It looks like Maned Wolves are going to go kind of the same pickups that they had from last game, very comfortable picks. And overall, over on the other side, for Azeri, they are still looking at a Pikachu potentially here, and we'll see if that is going to be the way to go.
You know, Kanashi, I do just want to say that I kind of come from, I have another channel that's a Pokemon Go channel, and it's, that's an app that, and a game that really does utilize that principle that you're talking about, because, like, every time, you know, when we saw the Hisui region come in, it's like they definitely embraced that with, like, an event for Voltorb, you know, to have the Hisui and Electrode and Voltorb and stuff, so, again, it's like, we don't know why Timmy and Tencent, I guess they're just too far removed or something, because they haven't really done that and embraced the new generations that come in when they do. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, to kind of refocus all of our attention here, you are seeing these picks. Kanashi noted some of them. I mean, just generally, we're looking at the same game. It's just how do you play it, right? So are these Absols going to be the snowballing damage dealers? You know, is this Delphox going to come through? I think last time the Delphox unfortunately didn't get to quite play to the full potential, but we'll see. Sultan, you can probably bring something out right here. So we are rooting for you, of course, from M-Dubs, and we'll see if Azeri, though, can pull off this victory. Do keep in mind, the teams have switched colors, so just so it's not a jarring experience for our viewers, Maned Wolves now on that purple, and Azeri Esports there for orange.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really interesting matchup. You know, once again, same lineup, different play style. It's a game of micro adjustments, and this is something that we try to teach the kids as well. It's the team that makes the least number of mistakes is usually the team that wins. It's not a matter of like, oh, did you make a great individual play? It's like, hey, did you make the least number of mistakes? If that is the case, then you end up winning these. But when it does come down to these, you know, it's a matter of playing your best tool for your team and trying to apply that pressure moving forward.
And so we really appreciate you guys cheering on your favorite teams. Go ahead and do that now in the chat as we have this early game starting off. We're just about to be a minute down. We're already seeing the action, though, and it's taking place here on the bottom path. That will be an early KO there against our little Finnegan from Sultan over there on Maned Wolves. But notice, we're trying to steal some of these Audino, and of course, on the other side, you got the A-Palm right here. And so generally not steals going on the top path compared to the bottom path, but hey, we're running things, man. There's action packed on both of these pathways.
Yeah, just applying a little bit of pressure, utilizing, you know, hyperspace hold to go ahead and get teams in and out, and also just allowing them to heal up a bit. So just playing it really safe, just typical poke game. We'll see how these two teams are going to go ahead and clash up here. You do see the two Hoopas kind of in mid lane, but does he know that he brought his big brother with him, the Celestial, as well? We'll see if that is the case, or if they are just going to ignore each other and then go ahead and play the game later. No, I was correct. Angel wants some blood, looking at, oh my god, the 3 crits. And the Hoopa's like, oh, okay, 1 crit was enough. Okay, 2, you got lucky. 3, okay, yeah, this is too much.
Yeah.
Very good play. Azeri dancing with death a little bit here.
Just a little bit, but there we go. We're going to see some of these smaller point values dunked in. That's generally representative of those first 2 minutes, which are down here for this first match. We got the hyperspace hole on the goal. We can bring whoever we need up here to the top path, and it looks like it was Hoopa who's going to go ahead and run up there. So Juan going to assist here on the top for Maned Wolves. And currently, of course, we've got the same sort of setup, right? It's everybody kind of goes to their corner, they get their wild Pokemon, and then come back in. We see a lot of this here in the beginning Of course, on this bottom path, though, it's been quite the slugfest, and Kanashi noted all those crits and things, so lots of people getting very near to that KO. But, everybody doing with the dance with death, and it's looking pretty good, although there it is. There's that KO being brought in, and this is looking very nice for our orange Absol right now, who needs that experience and needs to snowball. So here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready.
Yeah, they were utilizing the TP up to go ahead and get them to the point, but now they're looking at Zeros. They're going to go ahead and get that crit, but Angel's not going to be able to escape out there. They're looking at Kanai next. Can they go ahead and get that? They have 3 surrounding them. Azeri going to be able to clean that up, and now the rest of the team is down here getting ready for Dreadnought. They are going to try to kite out Juan as much as possible. We'll see if that is the case. Azeri going to be able to secure down that Dreadnought, going ahead and pushing on forward. And they have a lot of pressure and damage here. Carl Dave just making sure that they can't quite contest the goal as quickly as they can, unless you are going to be using that blink. It's not going to be the case. So Carl Dave just running on in there, and now trying to play a little bit of defense here, and they're just chipping away, adding a little bit of points left and right, down to 7. Now they're trying to go ahead and push somebody in. They do. They're going to go ahead and get the opposite. Absol and Azeri definitely applying pressure now, and now going to go home and make sure that they don't give up anything else.
Want to, of course, give a nice wave to the Lex over there in our chat. Thanks for being with us, Padre Nuestro, with those Absols, dude. So it is going nuts. We have, of course, looking at a different match now, because as Kanashi and I often note, so much can happen in Unite in a short amount of time, but we also did see with the Dreadnought push, and now being into the mid-game right here, Azeri looking pretty good with that 97. So certainly not outside of the realm of a comeback, so don't get celebrating too much too far, but there it is, the power nap on the goal. We're going to bring Rotom in here on this top path, and look at the damage that's being done with that one. Unfortunately timed, actually, because you're going to have the Rotom actually break it on that one, whereas if it had touched down, you could have possibly overdunked if it was just even a second or two before that all occurred.
Yeah, they were just trying to get in a little bit of scoring, but yeah, it's going to be 19 over with that Rotom break. That could have been the case, or if they were just trying to go ahead and break the goal early so that the next Rotom can go ahead and hit up that second goal. We'll see if that is the case. But Azeri is playing at a certain pace. It's really tough for Maned Wolves to go ahead and catch up. We do see them getting in position for this new Dreadnought, though.
There it is, the Midnight Slash, ladies and gentlemen, coupled with that Rings Unbound can bring people down, so we're going to see who's all coming. Yep, we got all hands on deck, but already some of those hands being chopped off here before that Dreadnought fight, right? So that Dreadnought spawned, and here we go. Azeri taking over a lot of this, and yes, it will be bursted down so fast to give Azeri that next Dread.
Yeah, and they are going to go ahead and secure that down. Now it's just a matter of scoring. How much are they going to break over? They're trying to do the 50, and they are. So 49 over on that first goal. It's going to be really big for them. And, Maned Wolves just got to figure out a way how to keep this going and utilizing all of these things correctly. So hopefully we will see them continue on with that pressure, continuing on with that level of snowballing, and we will see if that is going to be the case moving forward.
That's right, so everybody kind of getting the lay of the land here, because we're just about to hit that 4-minute mark, and sometimes this is that more ambiguous time of Unite, although you are kind of waiting for those Dreadnought, you are kind of waiting for the last things before the final stretch, but look at this. This will make it less ambiguous, because you've got a clear team fight going on right here on the top path. Of course, hyperspace holes are thrown down. You got the block there on the bottom, though. Not really needed, but it was just kind of for safekeeping. But notice, of course, our Absol there for Orange. Azeri Esports going to be dropping both players there on the top. No, okay, Lucario will actually get out unscathed. Very nice. So Maned Wolves trying to make that push back. Of course, with that bottom assault as well, though, it does leave Azeri with a bit of that gap.
Yeah, they just overwhelmed Azeri over here at that top goal, and now they're looking for even more. Zeros is going to drop in. Sherlock trying to return back, but that's not going to be the case. Kanai wants to take him home, but it's not going to be the case. They're going to go ahead and speed out here, and now you see them applying pressure to the Rotom already. They're most likely going to get it. It's dropping really low, and it's uncontested. Maned Wolves are going to go ahead and get that. So Azeri Esports having to deal with not only Rotom, but now the spawning and out of positionness that they do have for this potential Dreadnought down at bottom. So even though Maned Wolves right now, it looks like the goal says otherwise, it is really impressive to see them play out this way and see how well they can play, even though they are behind at the moment.
Actually, you do want to give props to Azeri's Sherlock right there, because not only was I trying to call it, but you were calling it as well. Really narrowly escaping the KO twice, and again, very, very narrowly. So here we go. We have that team fight actually transpiring early right here, Kanashi. So we have about 20 seconds until that final stretch. But look at this. Who has the full pockets? It's going to be Azeri Esports still with a lot of those 50s. And so they'll be looking forward to this Zapdos. If they can get that, we're going to see some Hundo Dunkins flying. You do see one or two right from Main Wolves, but that Delphox actually looking to be in a little bit of trouble. Luckily backed up with that super jump. And there we go, Kanashi. It's the final stretch.
Yeah, Sherlock trying to get out of there, but it's going to get picked off, pushing a little too far there. Now Azeri down one player, but do they have enough here? They're going to pop the hoops unbound to go ahead and keep them up, but it's not going to be enough to go ahead and keep them going. So Main Wolves getting chipped away here. Angel down to 1 HP. Will they be able to get away here? It looks like that might be the case now. Zero just trying to continue on the push. Fanciful Fireworks going to go ahead and keep him out of the choke point right now. And the hoops unbound coming out from Maned Wolves now, trying to go ahead and figure out if they can deal that pressure. They're looking at one, but right now Zero dropping very low, and the Carl Dave going to be able to get that heavy slam, but the damage coming through. Angel going to be able to clean up too, and trying to get the rest of it moving forward. The side of Azeri is going to go ahead and find these individual picks and trying to keep them off of the Zapdos. Kenai trying to be the last hope for Maned Wolves, and just dashing around, not going to be able to though. Going to get chased down by Azeri, and now they're going to go ahead and apply the pressure. They have that, and the FF is going to come through.
So those F's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, because that surrender means obviously we're going to have Azeri win this one. And so now Kanashi, isn't that a 1-1 on our victories right here? So I think we're bringing it to another match. If I recall correctly. I have to make sure that I recall that correctly. But anyway, that final score is going to be 295 for Azeri to 87 for M-Dubs.
You are correct. So yeah, Maned Wolves won the first one, and now Azeri is going to tie it up at 1 apiece. And both of these games, you know, really did come down to the way how these teams played. But the way how Azeri has been playing this is like, we'll take the fight. It did have me spooked a little bit once the timer came back and they lost to Lucario. But at the end of the day, you know, it did come down to them being able to focus down certain players during the team fight and cleaning up and prioritizing who they need in that moment. So really good play overall. Would like to see, you know, another really good matchup. You know, it's same lineups. We'll see if that is going to be the case as Azeri Esports and Maned Wolves are going to go run it back once again.
So here we are with our damage on screen, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see ahead of the pack by leaps and bounds is going to be that orange Absol there for Azeri with 109k. I mean, we're looking pretty devastating. While damage doesn't win you the game as we've had the theme, that was the team that won. So obviously Azeri putting that work in and looking very nice. You know, it was Kanashi noting in the previous game, Carl Dave playing a really good game. We're going to echo that again with this second game, but really it was just the entire team's effort. So looking good all around.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like doesn't show up on the scoreboard enough, but like the assist numbers that Carl Dave is just able to get, just heavy slam block and push them into your team. You find those little individual like picks and they start snowballing into something, not only just like advantage, like man advantage, but also positioning later down the line as well. So really good play overall, and we'll see if that ends up moving forward. We do have one more match between Azeri and Maned Wolves at the moment. Once we get that finished, we'll hop over to the other side of the bracket as well. But overall, great matches coming out here. Azeri and Maned Wolves, Maned Wolves. We'll see if they continue on forward. This is going to be the winner take all a little bit as we're going to be moving forward.
So it looks like Dan311 over there in our chat is saying congrats to Azeri and GG for Maned Wolves. Big fan of their plays, absolutely. You know, who could not be a fan of what we just saw take place? And as Kanashi says, we are going to determine a winner this time between these two teams. But really, you and I love to speculate and say, like, okay, what can they do to adapt? And now we have a 1-1 victory for each of them. So the question is, of course, you know, how do you adapt kind of in double time here? Because you're adapting to what we saw in game 1, but also game 2, and now you're playing again. So this kind of puts the onus on both teams now. It's not just that one has to figure it out. You know, both of them kind of have to either outplay the other one, outsmart them, maybe trick them, you know, element of surprise here and there. We'll see in the roster picks, of course, too, but it may not be entirely up to that.
Yeah, we'll see if there is going to be a special pickup later down the line. If there is going to be like a little bit of, maybe they have a pocket shot they have in their back pockets, just as we saw earlier with Love D's, they don't play the Absol. We're going to go ahead and play the Garchomp instead. Things like that can definitely push them over the edge. So we'll see how that plays out between Azeri and Man Wolves. Overall, it's been the same compositions, and both of these teams know what they want to do exactly. So we'll see if there's any adjustments in terms of like actual play here, or if it's going to be an adjustment of actual roster slots and character changes. We'll definitely take a peek at that.
Hey, feel free to confirm. I think that's one of the main wolves in the chat right there. I see MW Wolrin there saying they went for the hunt, but this match was tough, and so I can definitely see that. And so they're saying Angel misclick pursuit was a sad move. So, hey, we might be getting a little bit of insight right there from the teams' mouths themselves, you could say. Fingers here in the chat, though. But anyway, we'll try to bring this to you as quick as we can, of course. We're going to be looking into all that. All those logistics we were talking about before are panning out right now. And so hopefully, of course, these teams just kind of jump into this as fast as possible, and we'll get you those roster picks and everything. But definitely, I want to see you guys vocal in the chat for your favorite teams. Really, Kanashi and I are just rooting for the closest match we can see, basically, because obviously this one will now determine the winner, as we've mentioned.
Yeah, and winner of this is going to be moving on into the finals. Just to give you a couple heads up on the bracket itself. On the other side, we still have the semifinals match between Love D's and Lucker Bunch, kind of just sitting in the waiting for this match to finish up. And the winner of this match is going to go ahead and face off against one of those two. So definitely another heads up thing to look out for. We'll see if that is going to be the case. But here we go. We are going to be hopping into character select, and we'll see if there are any new or interesting picks moving forward.
So, of course, as far as when we say new, well, we're seeing the main wolves not really. We still have that Absol. We still got that Delphox in the picture. Our Hoopas, our Blissey, Lucario, those are the obvious givens. But look at what's going on over here. We got the Snorlax. We are seeing, of course, with the Chef's Hollowware. We got the Hoopa. We got the Absol. Pikachu Kanashi right here for a Zero XS. So we're looking pretty good, but we just got to hope that now the gameplay is going to be vastly different, right? That's what you have to kind of make the deciding factor, I would say, for this game 3.
Yeah, and we'll see if it comes in the way of aggression picks. Is it laning? Is there any other individual things moving forward? But yeah, definitely a lot to think about. A lot of outplay between Carl, Dave, and Nick. It's going to be a lot to look into here.
That's right, so there's the ready go. Ladies and gentlemen, for our game 3, this will determine our winner between Azeri and Main Wolves. Here it is. So we're very much gonna anticipate and gonna see it transpire right here. That's gonna be the 1-1-3 fold out, but we got Absol gonna be for Azeri, Absol gonna be for Main Wolves here in the central area, and there it is on this bottom path. That typical going after that Audino right here, a slugfest, and again the Electroweb's down. It's very much a repeat of what we've kind of been seeing a lot this tournament. When you have a Pikachu down there, you're gonna Electroweb around that Audino. It's just almost the given at this point.
Yeah, they're just playing it nice and safe, trying to get whatever damage through. Carl Dave gonna be able to get that a little bit of a Citrus Berry boost, and utilizing that along with the Magician to get a little speed boost as well. So Carl Dave gonna be able to head out. Does find a pick. They are taking up as much space as possible, and Azeri just getting some of the farm that overall would have went to Main Wolves.
I think this will once again be one of those principles where we say how much of the basics do we talk about or not, Kanashi, but we like the pick of Snorlax going up with the Magician because you have that passive to be able to actually get the double HP recovery from those berries with Snorlax, so the gluttony, But anyway, we did see the KOs early on, and there it is again, the Absol on Absol. It's that violence from the Absols right here. Looking pretty devastating, but you obviously see Sherlock's trying to zone out, and we are seeing just quite the slugfest here on the bottom goal. And look at that. It's going to be just that takedown at the last second. The pursuit is on, but Main Wolves, that might be your demise. Yes, it is. Trying to extend there. And it will be just pickoffs left and right because you're seeing, of course, Absol being brought down right there from Azeri as well.
Yeah, that was a really risky move. They wanted the KO so bad. that it put Juan out of position and the rest of Azeri Esports, which is ready to collapse on them. But overall, like, still early, just trying to figure out what picks you can get, what you could steal. And right now, you know, Azeri just making their presence felt, and making sure that it is as hard as possible for Main Wolves to move forward.
Definitely, my friend. So we're going to see the Audino being taken down right here, but also there's the skirmish on this kind of middle area of that bottom path, and it goes down quick. That chance he's out of there. And this is interesting because we're not a Blissey yet, right? You know, a lot of the times by this point in the match, you've probably gotten that evolution and stuff. So it's a small path to the evolution, but hey, just the fact that we've actually held it off this long is, I think, worth something there for Azeri to against Main Wolves. Delphoc's going to pull off this KO in the last second against our Snorlax here. So looking pretty good, though. Main Wolves trying to respond to that, and there's our Chansey getting that last kind of hit on the farm, on the Wilds, and evolve right here before the Dread.
Yeah, and this is a big evolution right now. You know that level 4 gives you Safeguard, or Soft Boiled, most likely Safeguard here. But we'll see if Azeri is going to make a response here. Carl Dave going to give him the sit and has now isolated Kanai. Can they get the KO? They do. They do convert on that. Now Sherlock going to push forward into the hyperspace hole in order to TP and get back in. Now you see them already applying pressure here, but it looks like Juan wants a piece of this. But overall, Azeri Esports has already surrounded Dreadnought. Now is Juan going to be able to get out using their own hyperspace hole? But Maned Wolves just trying to figure out if they want to go ahead and keep playing defense, or if they're just going to go ahead and let it go.
So we certainly shouldn't call the match or anything like that, obviously, so this is not a statement like that, but Azeri definitely playing like a team that wants to win this. I mean, they've been coming out in full force. Main Wolves, though, trying to place the defense, but notice how many of them are dropping here, which they do have the goal advantage, all that, you know, speed, all that recovery, and look at how it's happened. So you can obviously hyperspace hole, you can get back into it really quickly, and with that 5er, you can still leave the goal up, so that's very nice, because you dunk in that 5, get some points on the board, and still leave a goal pretty low here.
Yeah, now Azeri is going to go ahead and rotate up the top. Already looking at the Rotom as the potential next pick. And you do see Main Wolves as well, just kind of trying to answer back and see if that is going to be the case. Carl Dave just trying to create a little bit of space for themselves. They are going to get fire spun up there. And continuing on with the damage, does have the Unite move, going to be able to pop this, and now pushing back 3 into the rest of the team. So much speed coming through. Now they're looking to get even more damage. They already pick off the Absol, which is the main source of damage for Maned Wolves here. Now they're looking for more. They happen to get a little bit, and they're looking at Nick next. They're going to go ahead and break this front goal with a little bit over, and now allow the Rotom to go ahead and push and threaten that tier 2 goal.
Nick next, Paddywhack, give a Lucario a bone, I guess. I mean, that obviously Snorlax, we've been seeing a very wonderful use of those blocks today, and that's what I love. You know, we kind of mentioned it about Zugrug, but we've seen it great from Carl Dave. It's, you know, you go in with the heavy slam, immediately convert to block, and it's just been devastating. So anyway, we're now seeing actually a Lucario that's in a lot of danger here for Maned Wolves. And then you got, of course, Absol with the Midnight / Angel trying to turn this around on Sherlock, who has been, of course, holding his own. And so on this top goal, obviously doing the song and dance down there while a Dreadnought is here on the map. We don't have that Rings Unbound yet or anything. That's typically what you do to teleport, but it's not needed because you can see that really there were no hands on deck for Main Wolves right there for that Dread.
Yeah, and they are just going to play it safe. They are looking for another one, but now here comes the hyperspace hole and the Hoops Unbound to go ahead and bring the rest of the team in. Carl Dave has his eyes set on one, but the 2 pickoffs already back here by the Pikachu, already looking for more. And now they're going to put Angel up against the wall, either this wall or this wall. We're trying to figure out what they want to cook up here. Carl Dave trying to serve up some sauce here on this platter, and they're continuing on with the pressure. Going to go ahead and take that power nap, go ahead and go back home. And we'll see if they do return back to the fight. They do. Looking at Juan this time, pushing him away, utilizing that X speed in order to go ahead and get even more distance. And we'll see if that is going to be back up in time for them to go ahead and apply pressure. And yeah, a lot of the team is playing really, really tight gaming overall. They find a certain pick, they take advantage of this, and as you can see by the scoreline right now, Azeri just currently having the lead and just eating up as much space as possible.
Carl, Dave, we love to see these Snorlax plays with the block again, and so now we're actually seeing Koro Zeref is going to be actually in that tall grass, trying to catch Nick off guard, and finally we'll pull that off right here. So very nicely done, and right here we're actually seeing now, of course, the sandwich between Hoopa, so it's our Hoopa sandwich, and Snorlax is trying to cook something up. Kanashi was using all sorts of chef puns, which is very apt with that Hollowware, and so we're going to try to keep those going, but notice, obviously, the damage. If you can't take the heat, get out of that kitchen, man, because Snorlax is going to faint, pass out from the exhaustion, man. They were definitely sent on the run, so this is wonderful. Now, the final note, I guess, would be, of course, with these dunks from Main Wolf, we're also seeing on the top path, kind of going more towards Azeri and leaving Main Wolf to defend over there.
Yeah, they're trying to get as many points in here as possible, and Nick trying to survive the fight, but no, Angel's gonna go ahead and be able to possibly squeak by here, already picking off two, and now Carl is being the only one here along with the rest of the team. He's gonna drop as well, so now trying to deal that damage through, but Zero here to just chip away at them, tell them, hey, you can't score here, maybe later, but not now. We do see the way how Main Wolves is going to answer back, though. They're going to go ahead and heal, get ready for this final stretch, as we're about to hop into it in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, you'd like to see that resistance brought on by our Pikachu right here. It's almost playing that defender Pika, right? You know, when you're staying there as that lone Pikachu on the goal. So left side team actually going to get those shields and experience just before that final stretch. They're going to see that alert that we got on screen right here, which is we have a huge lead. That is true. But obviously, Maned Wolves sitting there with those Hundo Duncans ready. If they get that zap, that's what we'll be looking at. So Azeri, the onus is on them, obviously, to protect against this. Here it is. We're going to poke and prod that Zapdos. Notice everybody hiding out in the tall grass. This is what you're going to do. You're going to wait and see. Are they going to initiate that Zapdos? Should we kind of jump in if we're Maned Wolves after Azeri has made the push for it? So it's all going to happen in this next minute and 30.
Yeah, and we'll see when the hyperspace holes get played out. You already see 40 seconds already burned off of this final stretch. They are just kind of playing it nice and slow. Azeri knows that the ball is in Maned Wolves' court, and now they're going to have to initiate right now. Hoops and Bound being popped out by both sides, looking for more damage, and the Midnight Slash going to be able to deal some massive damage here. Now Sultan trying to return the favor onto the Absol. They're going to be able to go ahead and get that as well. Now they have 3 players here, very low HP, but same thing with the Zapdos dropping dangerously low, and they're going to be able to get it here. So Maned Wolves going to be able to finalize and get this final Zapdos going their way. And now it's just a matter of, can they score? Can they capitalize? They're still behind by a little bit, and looks like Nick gonna have this free dunk here, that breakaway goal, and they are gonna go ahead and do that. 30 seconds left. Now the ball is in Azeri's court, and they have to figure out a way how to score a potential 100 in order to continue this game and make it even closer.
Dare we say a Hundo Duncan? Yes, they were dunked in all over the place from Main Wolves, but that's what Azeri needs. And so right now, playing a solid defense, but notice this, with all point values doubled, we're going to get in a 30+ right here on this bottom path. You're going to need a little bit more math than that, though, am I right, folks? So there's the blocks down, and it looks like the 3-2-1. Not enough time, was it? I mean, I actually did